Hello planty friends and welcome to Plan O'Clock News.
Nice to be in orbit.
Today we'll be featuring a Mammillaria Rhodantha, a Pilea Peperomioides, a Haworthiopsis Attenuata or zebra plant, and Anacampseros Telephiastrum. Let's start with our Mammillaria Rhodantha, or also known as pincushion cactus. There is 171 species of Mammillaria, if not even more. They are easily recognizable for their prominent conical shapes on the surface. Mammillaria comes from Latin mamilla, which means nipple, and it's been given this name because of the conical shapes we were talking about before. They are usually small cactus that they don't grow up more than 30 centimeters tall and wide, so they remain pretty small and you can have it anywhere in the house. You can have it potted, so it's easier to move around. It can grow in solitary like this one, or it can grow in clumps like those ones. The top part of the plant can be covered by a wool-like substance like this one. And basically what it means is that they have way more tolerance to sunlight. So when you see cacti that has like wool-like hair, it means that it has a great tolerance to sunlight. The flowers are deep pink to a purple color. These ones are purple. Surprisingly, they can tolerate pretty cold temperatures, as this one has been outside the whole winter and it's got to minus 10 degrees just a couple of nights, but still it has survived. It's a pretty old one. It's been with me for like 5 years. I would say it's my oldest plant, and just the past 2 years it has been flowering a lot. And since it's a desert plant, it stands long period without water, but it does need lots of sunlight. Let's go to one of the stars of the show, the Pilea Peperomioides. It's also known as the Chinese money plant, the full plant, pancake plant, whatever you name it, and it's due because of its unique foliage. It is native from southern China, that's why it got its name. In its native habitat, it grows in shady and damp rocks, but it's pretty much cultivated everywhere. In 1945, it was rediscovered by a Norwegian missionary who was living in the province of Yunnan in southern China, and then he traveled to Hunan to a local market where he got a live species of the plant. Then after arriving to Norway, he started traveling the country and giving cuttings of the plant. And it's a very easy plant to propagate because it will grow offsets like these ones when the plant is mature enough. This one is just a little baby yet, but it has sprouted like 5 new leaves in the past week, so maybe this summer we're gonna get some pups. It's very important you don't cover the soil with pebbles or anything, so the offsets can go out. And then they are very easy to remove. You just have to take a clean blade and cut the stem as close to the soil you can. And then you just have to pop it up in water, and soon you will have another Pilea Peperomioides that you can share with a friend. Very important that we rotate our plants, especially this one, because it's very sensitive to the light, so the leaves will grow towards it. So just rotate it every 2 days. I rotate all my plants because they all do that, but this one specifically, you will notice if you don't rotate it that it's all going towards one side. It's important to give it bright light, but never direct sunlight, as it could burn its leaves. The majority of the plants that come from tropical climates, they live under the jungle, meaning they live under the shade of those big trees. So you more or less have to create the same environment if you want your plant to thrive. Also, they love humidity, so don't be afraid to mist it 2 or 3 times a week. And remember to feed your plants, to give them some fertilizer, because they cannot live just with water. I learned that the hard way. Have you propagated them? Do you have any tips for me? Haworthiopsis Attenuata, formerly known as Haworthiopsis Attenuata, they just changed the name when I learned how to pronounce it. The species of a succulent plant native from South Africa. The species is rare in cultivation, and normally all Haworthiopsis fasciatas are mislabeled in the nurseries, and they normally are Haworthiopsis Attenuata. I just realized that the other day, and what I have in here is a Haworthiopsis Attenuata. Let's go into the differences so you can check what do you have. The most fundamental distinction is that Haworthiopsis fasciata has fibrous leaves and can be easily distinguished by the smooth upper surfaces of its leaves. Just as the Pilea Peperomioides, Haworthiopsis likes bright light but not direct sunlight, as it could burn or damage its leaves and make them turn pale. This kind of plant should get a full soak and then let it dry between waterings, so it's more desert-like, and their flowers grow from November to December. If you have a Haworthiopsis fasciata or attenuata, let us know in the comments if you have found out which one you have. But not least, we have Anacampseros Telephiastrum Variegata. Such a big name for such a tiny plant. It's also a species native from South Africa, and it's a slow-growing succulent, and it will not reach more than 15 centimeters tall and wide. Normally it will spread, so it's quite easy to keep it under control. You can have it potted and move it around. The more sunlight or indirect light it receives, the more pinkish the undersides of this plant will look. It's not warm or cold resistant, so it's best to keep it in a container so you can move it around as the temperatures change. In the summer, they produce small pink flowers that they will usually bloom in the hot afternoons of the summer. Are you into tiny succulents? Well, that's it for Plant News today. Thanks for watching, and see you next Tuesday with more plant updates. And remember to water your